Hi, guys, and welcome into Niner Faithful Radio's post game show. I'm your host, Jaymie. I'm here to go over the final score in the game for the 49ers versus Jets game. So before I want to welcome all of you guys into the show. Great to see some of you guys in here. And yeah, so before we get into anything with the show, I'm gonna do one quick do some ad reads, pay some bills for around here. And yeah, and then we'll start talking about the game.
Today's episode is sponsored by Power Brand Systems. Need help getting new customers for your business? Let Power Brand Systems help you grow with their powerful tools. Visit powerbrandsystems.com/Niner Faithful Radio for more info. If you like our content and would like to support the show, consider leaving us a tip in our tip jar at ninerfaithfulradio.us/tip jar. Join our exclusive membership community where you get exclusive NFR content not available anywhere else. Join our exclusive chat, 20% off of all non-sale For the Faithful by the Faithful gear, and much more. Visit portal.ninerfaithfulradio.us/login to join.
For the Faithful by the Faithful Season 4 apparel is finally here. To see this year's designs and also save 20% off of Season 1 through 3 designs, go to ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop.
Let's tune in every Monday to watch Jason react to the highlights of last week's game. Follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok, and at Niner Faithful R on X.
Alrighty, guys. All right, so let's get into this game. So I have like the final. So I'll show this real quick. So we have this on here, so you guys can see this. This is from NFL.com. Final score: 19 Jets, 32 49ers. 49ers started off little bit slow, but started picking up obviously a little bit later. Yeah, so let's just start diving in. I think the first thing we got to talk about is Jordan Mason's insane game. He almost had 150 yards. I think his final tally was 147 and one touchdown. I think he had like 28 rushes, I believe was the final. I have this pulled up to see if it will work. And so he had an insane game because surprise Christian McCaffrey was deemed ineligible to play. He was deactivated from the game because of his calf Achilles injury. Hopefully that's not something more serious, and we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, so Jordan Mason got the start tonight. He had a phenomenal game. Overall, the O-line did extremely well. Obviously, like Kyle's offensive line is always strong in the run like the run blocking. So that ended up being very well. He had really great runs throughout the game. Even Debo got in there a little bit, and yeah, overall it was very well. And that I thought that was very good. I thought overall on defense we had I think the only time that we slipped up was with the Jets one really good drive. I think it was in the either late in the first quarter or in the second quarter. He Aaron Rodgers was just going down the field. And that's really when they were picking up our defensive part a little bit. But overall, the defense played really, really solid. Fred Warner was all over the field, flying everywhere, already in like midseason form. Um, Obviously, Nick Bosa was great as usual. Got credit for half a sack with Leonard Floyd. But obviously had holding calls. Finally got in holding call, which is good. Defense played really, really well for the most part. I feel like looked more like the defense that we're used to seeing. I will say that. I think played more into the strengths of the defense. Um, uh, Fowles had I think it was Demo had a knocked the ball out of a wide receiver. It flew up in the air, and I think Fowles caught it, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that was a great play. That was really good. Warner forced a fumble at one point. Mosley almost got an interception at the end of the game. Was very, very close. And yeah, our D line was actually pretty solid for the most part. They weren't getting pressure initially, but they figured it out and started getting some pressure. We got one sack, so maybe this will be the year we'll get a lot of pressures, maybe not as many sacks, which I think sucks, but at least we're affecting the quarterback. Who knows? We'll have to see. See that moving forward. Yeah, overall, I'm not that concerned about the defense. We didn't have any injuries on defense really, which I think is which is good. Moving back over to the offense, Purdy played really, really solid. He had his ups and downs. He threw for over 200 yards, which I think was really good. Was mixing it up to a lot of different players. Ayuk had a couple of big drops, which I feel like is to be expected of him being a little bit rusty and not being at training camp. So honestly, not that surprising. And so I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. He'll get back into it. I'm not that worried about that right now. I mean, if this continues to be an issue, then it's yeah, but I feel like he definitely looked gassed out there, which he normally does not do. So I think it's gonna just be him getting reacclimated into game shape. Which we'll have to just see. But he did have a good catch though. It was starting to look more like it. He looked good on that part. And let's see what else. Debo had a really solid game. He had a touchdown. Was really involved in the rushing attack because CMC was not available this game. They mixed him in that quite a bit. Let's see if I can refresh this. And whatnot. And so, overall, Debo had some good catches too. Had a couple good big first down catches, touchdown. Did a couple end arounds. Had a crazy play where he was it's like a trick play, and he almost made up all of he was going to be for a big loss, but he almost made up all the yardage back, which was kind of wild. He only ended up losing 3 yards, but it would have been a lot more if he got tackled right away. Juwan Jennings had a really, really solid game. I think he was super underrated, had some really big catches, was injured, got a little banged up there at some point, but came back in, so I think that is good. Overall, I think the O-line played really solid for the most part. So I think that is really, really, really good. Aaron Banks was pulled out of the game with a calf injury. I do not believe he returned. Spencer Burford took his spot, so we'll have to monitor that throughout the week. See how that goes. And yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a really strong. I don't think it was anything crazy, but it's just a really, really strong showing from the team. Honestly, there's a lot of people worried that the Niners were going to end up completely blowing this game, and even when they were down at the beginning, I didn't really feel like that. I think they played really solid. I think it took them a little bit to get into the rhythm a little bit, and they got that going a little bit. Also, James was involved in the passing game a little bit. He had a really nice catch, almost for a touchdown. That probably should have been a touchdown, but I just think it's Purdy and Juice need to work on that connection a little bit, since they're not used to it as much. And Juice had some good, obviously solid in the blocking game for the running game, so that's obviously great. Kittle had a couple of really good catches, which I think is good. I hope we start utilizing him more because he's great. I get using him as a chip or whatever for the line, but I think especially when we're waiting on Ayuk to get back into shape, and without CMC, I think we got to get Kittle involved a little bit more. But yeah, I think overall really solid game. I think it ended up being extremely well, going very well. And yeah, I mean, if you guys have any comments, feel free to leave them in there. But I think obviously the standout is Jordan Mason with his incredible, almost 150-yard rushing game. In his first start in the NFL, he was phenomenal. Played really well, looked great, and could be a really great counter with when Christian McCaffrey, even when he does come back, because nice little 1-2 punch, I think, there. Maybe we can ease, as much as I love McCaffrey, it'd be nice to even the workload between them a little bit, so neither one of them gets overworked and stuff. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I feel really like this is just a really, really solid game. I don't think it's I think the Pittsburgh game last season was more exciting. But this felt really solid. This still feels like the same team we've watched the last few years, which I think is incredible. And yeah, we'll have to see moving forward, see how they do on a slightly shorter week this week, having to play in 6 days, or really 5 because they lost most of this one. And then traveling to, I believe we play in Minnesota. So we'll have to keep that looking forward. But yeah, overall, really, really solid game. Guys have any comments or anything like that? While I wait for you guys to post that, I'm going to do one more real quick little ad break, and then we'll move forward.
This segment is brought to you by Shop49ers.com, the official online store of the 49ers. Use our affiliate link in the description to get the latest official Niner gear, save 10%, as well as help out this show. This segment is brought to you by SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code NinerFaithfulRadio at SeatGiant.com to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out this show.
But yeah, overall, I think, like I said, went really well. And it looked like a really packed stadium there in Levi's, which I think is great. Very solid game. I think it was funny. People kept being really high on the Jets and Aaron Rodgers coming back. And I think people forget, especially the last couple of years, Aaron Rodgers has not played well when he's traveled to Levi's, regardless of whatever team he's played on. He has not played well here. And his receivers he had a couple really good plays. It took him a while to get connected with one of his receivers. The other one, we bottled up after a little bit, and it was just like he was getting frustrated. You could see it, and we just dominated the time of possession for the whole game, like especially from that second quarter into the beginning of the second half. We just like did not let them have the ball for very long. They would have it for like one and be 3 and out and be done. And so it was interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens when Ayuk gets more regularly into football shape. Also, if you're worried about Trent Williams, he was back out there. He was not injured. He walked away to the locker room at some point, but he was not walking with doctors. He was walking with security. So some say IV. I don't know for sure. Assuming it's something like that. So he is totally fine. And whatnot. And then with DeJuan Jennings, he went back in. So the only real injury that we have that did not come back in or report back in is Aaron Banks. And hopefully it's not significant. It could be, since the game was pretty lopsided for the most part. Maybe he just didn't feel the need to come back in, just rest his calf, let Burford have the snaps because I think it came out late in like the third or fourth quarter. So there wasn't that much time left. But so we will keep you guys monitored on that. But yeah, overall, want to know. Obviously, great start to the season. Super, super like exciting, crazy game, but it was really solid showing for the Niners. Show they can still pass. Show they can still run the ball. Obviously, I think the big thing is while Brock Purdy had some really great moments, he did have a series where he could not connect, and he was missing some players. Like there was a third down that he was trying to attempt, and he could have hit. He could have hit. Oh my God, the running back, the flats, Mason. He could have hit Mason for the easy first down, but he tried to throw it to Debo, and like it's like double or triple coverage or something crazy like that. He tried. Luckily didn't get picked or anything, but it was interesting. He had a few passes like that where he was trying to force some stuff, which is interesting. He's not normally like that, but he did have some really good passes too. Like had some nice ones to Kittle, some to Juice. He did have a couple really good first down completions to Debo and to Dwan Jennings. So like it's good. He looks solid. And yeah, I think that is going to be done for it for tonight, guys. Don't really see any comments, anything about you guys for the game. Feel like we're kind of in the same boat. Really good game. Didn't really let the Jets do very much in the second and third quarter, which I think is extremely important. The Jets only scored one more touchdown in basically garbage time. And so, it is what it is. I think the good thing is I think the defense looks really solid, and I think it's going to be extremely tough. And so I think that is great. And I think our pass rushers is going to be okay. I think they're really solid. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see and wait until we get Hufanga back, which hopefully will be somewhat soon. And have to see with when we possibly could potentially see Greenlaw, maybe in the playoffs potentially. I don't know for sure. We'll have to see how he's sailing, but yeah, overall, I think the team looked really solid, especially on defense. So I think the offense looked a little rusty, which I think is to be expected because they didn't play preseason really at all together. So I think this is just them working it out and getting reacclimated. And so but yeah, other than that, I think also a good thing before I let you guys go, Trent Williams played pretty much all of the snaps in this game, which I think is incredibly impressive considering he just came back like this week or the end of last week or whatever. So I think that is huge as well. So yeah, overall really solid. And yeah, I believe for next Sunday, for this upcoming Sunday for that game, I'll be going live around this same time. Because you have work, so I will be able to see. I'll be able to see most of the game before I go in, but I won't be able to do anything until I get off work. So I'll probably be around this time when I go live next. So keep all the notifications, subscribe to other places. You guys know the drill. And yeah, have a great evening. Have a great Victory Tuesday. And as always, go Niners. See you later, guys.